performed in the Dove Awards. How was it?
It was really cool.
Who'd you perform with?
With CeCe Winans. It's recorded. This is not live.
Actually?
The Doves, oh my God. What you see on TV is like days later. They're not showing it live in that moment.
I would be so oblivious.
The whole event gets recorded,
Yes.
and then a week later, they put it on TV.
Do you have like one or two artists that like really influenced you as you grew up?
I don't know if you know who this man is, but he just won 4 Grammys at the Latin Grammys. His name is Ruiz. He is Dominican. He is something else. I feel like he's a genius.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Miami, Florida. Like anything that's like really passionate, I like do it in Spanish because it's like I revert to like my factory settings.
Yeah. Your default settings.
I'm like, oh.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Studio One. I am in a new location, not the original location, but I am here with Amanda. Amanda, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Good
how
to
are
see
you?
How was your travels? You guys don't know this, but it's around Thanksgiving, and she was traveling all the way from Miami, right?
Tampa this time.
Tampa this time.
Tampa. That's where my
Okay,
parents
how was
were
it?
at.
How
It
was
was really good.
Yeah?
The weather was nice, and
Yeah.
then I got back here and it was like 26 degrees. So
I
I'm
could
like,
say, what was the weather? What was the
regretting
weather?
my
'Cause
whole life.
It is cold here in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, they have little cold fronts and stuff, but it was like in the 70s and like just nice. Like
Yeah.
it's not too hot, not too cold. And then I came here.
Yeah. I'm glad
It's
you're
all
here.
good, though.
Yeah, thanks
We're
for coming.
home.
Thanks
Yes,
for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to do a little bit of a quick intro of you and a couple quick hits. So, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Miami, Florida.
So
Yes.
the warm weather.
Very
And
warm.
now you came to Nashville, and
I know.
it's cold
Yeah.
now. Do you enjoy the cold?
I do. I mean, I like it here because there's a good in between. You could see every season, but we're not like in New York, like shoveling snow all day, every day, you know? So
When was
I feel
the
like
first
it's
time you saw
nice.
snow? Because Destiny.
Oh my gosh.
Destiny's behind camera. She's also from Florida.
Yes. Oh,
And
the
Destiny
first time.
you saw snow a while ago. In Italy. Yeah, in Italy in 12.
Yeah, I think it was in New York.
Okay.
I was like 14.
Okay, because that's wild.
And
For
it
me,
was,
I
like,
grew up
the
in PA.
craziest
I grew up in
thing.
PA, so like literally from day one,
Right. You guys
it was
are
snowy.
so used to like
Yeah.
even now, I think it's like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like and the little like what is it? The snowflakes, they're all so different. And I'm just it just blows my mind. I can't understand it. It doesn't compute in my head. It's the coolest thing ever.
I love it. I love it. How did you get into music?
Oh my gosh.
Just a quick
Well,
little like recap of how you got into it? Like maybe like started young.
Okay, I think this is gonna be funny just because when I was little, my parents, I always went on private bus. Like when I was like 4 years old, 4 or 5, going to my daycare and like my pre-K
Yeah.
in a bus. Growing up in Miami, my bus driver was like this Hispanic guy that would play like these old school like. I don't know what to compare it to in English, but just old school songs,
Just sing in
Spanish,
Spanish, yeah.
Spanish ballads. And I would come home singing these songs. And my parents were like, what? I guess one day they realized, like, oh my gosh, like she's in tune. Like she sounds good. Like she could actually sing. And yeah, they took that and put me in like singing lessons. And then everything from that, I was in choir my whole life, elementary school, everything with the church, musicals, like started worship at 10 years old. So it was just something that I think
It's, like,
kind of came
ingrained in you.
naturally
Yeah.
because my family, my grandma kind of sang. She
Yeah.
did. But my parents, like no one really. So I guess once they'd noticed that. But I think it kind of started, shout out to that bus driver. I don't remember. I think
Hopefully
his name
around
was
you.
Jaime, something like that.
Yeah. Just started you out.
He was
That's
just,
awesome.
yeah. And then he would come home singing these like crazy, like Spanish heartbreak songs. And
They're
you
like,
were actually pretty good.
Where did you learn this?
I'm like, yep. Shout out to him.
I love that. And then outside of music, what kind of hobbies do you enjoy? Outside of music, like just like
I mean, I
you're chilling
love
on
food.
a Saturday. Okay.
Is eating a hobby?
Yeah.
I mean, I like to cook. I like cooking. I like trying new things. Always developing my palate. You know, there's things that a couple years ago I wasn't eating and now I am. You know, it's just I don't
Yeah.
know, growing up. I guess I
Yeah.
don't know. So that's fun. I like discovering new places. I like traveling a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I wish I could do more of it, but that's like one of the things I want to do more next year. And recently, I think like I've been getting a lot more into art, like drawing,
Okay.
like just random stuff. But
Yeah.
like me and my boyfriend will watch Bob Ross videos. Like we bought like a
That's
whole
amazing.
canvas thing. And we will like have to pause it because he goes so fast. He makes it seem so easy.
Oh, yeah.
little happy trees.
I was gonna say happy
I'm
trees.
like, dude, hold on, you're going a little too fast. But it's been fun to like follow and like just do your own thing.
Mm,
And I don't know, I think that's like healthy instead of just scrolling and stuff.
yeah,
So I want to get more into
yeah,
that is art.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. All right, before we get into like the meat of the whole interview, we gotta play a
Mm,
game.
okay.
Gotta get your personality. You ready? We're gonna play
I like
Would You
games.
Rather.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
So I'm gonna give
Take it
you
easy on me.
4 Would You Rathers.
Okay.
See how you react to it.
Okay.
So, would you rather write 10 hits in the Christian industry or 1 hit in the secular industry?
I'm gonna
We'll kind of get into this because you were
yeah,
in the
yeah,
Christian
yeah, yeah.
industry for a little bit.
I'm gonna have to go with 10 hits in the
Mm,
Christian industry.
okay,
Do you want me to tell you why?
sure. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
um just the message, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like I think it'd be great to get one hit period anywhere in any capacity, but I think in that realm it's like you're kind of doing it for something bigger than
hmm
yourself and I think that's my why.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Number 2, would you rather be a prodigy in piano or guitar? First off, do you play piano or guitar?
I play the piano super poorly.
Okay, so would you rather be a
Like I
prodigy in?
could like it's easier. The piano is easier, but I'd rather be a prodigy in guitar.
Okay,
I don't know. I
is
just
that because of like your
yeah,
roots in like Miami and kind of like
probably,
the
but I think
guitar?
I like the sound, but like if I'm gonna do a set, I rather have acoustic. I rather have a guitar. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like I like how it sounds. I feel like you could do so much with it.
yeah,
I mean, you can with the piano too, but it's different. It's a different vibe.
yeah.
So definitely guitar. I'm jealous
Okay,
of people that can like
just like
go
your
all
roots.
out and do all that. That's crazy to me. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it. All right, would you rather write music in Spanish only or English only?
Spanish only,
Really?
1000%.
Why?
I always tell people this. One, Spanish is a passionate language. There's a
Mm,
lot of, I mean, it's a romantic language.
yes.
There's so much more I can say because there's like, I could say the same thing to you 5 different ways in
Mm,
Spanish, but in English, I could just say it one way. You know
yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a couple ways.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like about Spanish is most of the words end in vowels. So it's so
It's
almost
true.
every word ends in a vowel. It's so easy to rhyme.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's just like
That is
more
so
options
true.
to pick out of. So and it flows better.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I could do I wouldn't be upset about that
Yeah.
doing full on Spanish forever.
Have you ever done a
Yeah.
full-on Spanish
Oh
song?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done a few.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's it just comes more maybe because it was my first language, but then English is I think I don't know, they're kind of hand in hand, but I will say English is like a tiny bit more I'm more comfortable with
Yeah.
it because I speak it more often, but I know Spanish just as well where I express myself pretty well in that language, so I think even when I pray or like when I'm upset, like anything that's like really passionate, I like do it in
Yeah.
Spanish because it's like I revert to like my factory settings.
Yeah. Just your default settings.
I'm like, oh, yeah. So, yeah,
I love it.
that's
That's
about
great. That's awesome. And
right.
the last one. Would you rather have your least favorite song that you've written sung by your favorite artist
Mhm.
or your least favorite song? Wait, I think I messed
That
that up.
I've
That
written.
you've written. So
Oh, that's
would you
different.
rather have your least favorite song that you've written sung by your favorite artist? Would you rather have them sing it? Or
Uh-huh.
your favorite song that you've written sung by your least favorite artist? There we go. I got it.
Yeah, I totally have my least favorite song
Sung by your favorite
performed
artist.
by my favorite. Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Why
1000%.
is that?
Well, I feel like one, even though I do have my least favorite song, it was still real. I think
Mhm.
I write from a real place. It was still something that was dear to me.
Yeah.
And I think that my favorite artist could make it sound amazing. I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's who's delivering the message,
That's
not the
true.
message. You know what I
That
mean?
is
So
true. That is true.
yeah, I think I would choose that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for playing the game. We're gonna
Yeah.
get into the deets of it all. So I want to kind
Ooh,
of get into your music. So I love your music.
thank
I
you.
love it. I love the mix of the Spanish and the English and all that stuff. And it
Yeah.
has like such a vibe.
Thanks.
I just want to move with it. So it's so cool. For your first song that was fully produced,
Hmm.
what language did you record it in? Like,
It was
was
in
it
English. It
English?
was in
Okay.
English. Yeah.
Why was that? It was just like you just were just writing because of that,
I think
or
it came to me. I might have dabbled a little bit in Spanish and then just started writing it in English. It just turned
yeah,
out being an English song, but it was very much inspired by what I've heard in Spanish, if that makes
yes,
sense.
yeah,
Like sayings and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, yeah, it was full full English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you always kind of like, I'm going to incorporate both languages in it? Or were you kind of like, I'm going to do the English thing? But
Hmm.
then you're like, as you kind of were developing your artistry, you're like, actually, this is a really cool, like,
Yeah.
way to influence
I
more
think I
lyrics.
always wanted to do Spanish. I mean, I grew up in the Spanish church.
Mhm.
All our worship, like, it's so funny because some songs that I would go to like the English church and listen to, I thought they were originally in Spanish.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute. They have them in English too. No, I was so wrong. We're the ones translating it. And so, growing up with like, but I always thought they were a little better,
Yeah.
the language is
Yeah.
different. And so I grew up singing in Spanish. Everything was
Yes.
Spanish, my influence. So I think when I first started, obviously, I wanted to make English music as well.
Yeah.
It's my dominant language. But I think after that first song, after the couple first songs I did, I was like, I really want to do both into the, like, go back and forth.
Yes.
Because in Miami, we could get into that. We speak Spanglish.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to put that in my music where I'm
Yeah.
able to like flow one word to the next or one sentence to the next in two languages.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how did Miami like shape how you write and like how you
I
think of
mean,
music? Because like it's such a different thing. Like even
yeah.
like in the like middle west like states and all that stuff.
Oh,
Like
of course.
it's like
It's
so
a different
influenced.
world.
It's so influenced by like the Spanish culture and all that stuff. Like how did that
Yes.
like really
Yeah.
affect how you kind
I
of
mean, I
tackled it?
think like growing up, like I said, everything was like reggaeton, like all this stuff that all our like kids song, everything was in Spanish. And then growing up in a city like Miami, I was around so many different cultures,
Yes.
other Hispanic cultures, and listening to their like cumbia, like Mexican rancheras, bachata. Like it was just so many different things that were
Yeah.
in and out my ears. Um, and that really like was a lifestyle, I think,
Yeah.
in a way. Like you would just, that's what you did, and everybody listened to music. And I think like that was always in me.
Yes.
The rhythm was always there. Like all that
Yes.
was always there. And just like being able to explore myself in, how I was raised was pretty dope. I
Yeah.
think that was cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like what artists kind of like do you have like one or two artists that like really influenced you as you grew up?
Mm.
Like oh, this person, like I really love what they did writing wise or production wise. So that
Man, I'm gonna have to say I don't know if you know who this man is, but he just won 4 Grammys
okay.
at the Latin Grammys. His name is Juan Luis Guerra. He is Dominican.
Gotta check him out.
Yes, he is something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's a genius. Not just as a music, like he's a singer. He's a musician first. And I
Yes.
can appreciate that because I
Yeah.
feel the music is different when they're musician first and then they happen to sing,
Mm.
But his lyrics and it's just everything. It's like the complete package. And I grew up listening to him a lot.
Yes.
I still listen to him. He's an older man now. And I'm like, I don't want him to die yet. I want to do
Yeah.
something with him, or I want to see him
Yeah.
something, at least something. So he was and my father's Dominican. He's Dominican. So I think
Actually,
that's really big in the
yeah.
culture. And I think it was pretty neat to grow up with like listening to him.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I'm gonna take a little dive, like a little change of
Mhm.
pace here. Something big. You performed in the Dove Awards, correct?
Yes, I did.
That was recent. That
How
was
do you know that? I'm
this
kidding.
year, right?
Yeah, that was in October, like
Yeah.
the 1st of October, something like that.
How was it? What first off,
It was really
who'd
cool.
you perform with? And do you remember? I'm sure you know the song.
Yes, with CeCe Winans.
Okay.
That's My King, and she opened, which was such a heavy. I don't know. I think like I grew up right, like listening to her stuff,
Yeah.
and just like that full circle moment was pretty cool. And like at first I was like, oh, it's not like that big of a deal, and then I was like, no, like this is kind of cool. Like
What was
this is
that
pretty cool.
conversation like? You getting like? Did someone just call you and be like, "Hey"?
Well, no, so come to find out, I did not know this for like a few months going to this church. This is like the church I go to is CeCe Winans, and her husband like founded it.
Yeah.
Her son is the pastor now. And whenever I started visiting, like me and Destiny went, we started visiting, like he was the one preaching. And then I would see her there. And I was like, okay, like maybe she just comes here. Like maybe this is just like the church she comes to. And
Yeah.
then come to find out, like she started the whole thing like 12 years ago. And I joined the worship team recently. And that's how they were like,
Oh.
we need, are you willing and are you available? And I'm like,
That's
Of
such a
course,
that's so
like, that
cool.
wasn't, like, a no-brainer,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
What was like getting that? Okay, so you've been asked. Like, what is
Mm.
that process? Is it like pretty rigorous? Of like, all right, we got rehearsal days, we got we got all these things we're
Mm.
doing. Like, and then like you have to show up here. You got to have this. Like, what's like
Yeah,
the
I think
process of
for
getting there?
us, it wasn't too bad because it was, like, a choir, like, she had her own background
Gotcha.
backup singers, and then but, we had, like, an attire, we had to wear all white, so, yeah, I was, like, scrambling to because I don't wear white pants, what? I'm, like, so clumsy, I get everything dirty, so I'm
You're like,
like
do not touch this until the day
I had
of.
not had yeah, even that day, I was like, it's my we all had Tide pens, it was so funny because I was, like, I wasn't eating, I was, like, scrambling around for that, so that was one thing, it was, like, getting your outfit because they needed us to stand out, it's the Doves, you wanna
Yes.
look good, and then we had rehearsal the day before the recording,
That's
so
it.
it's recorded, this is
Oh,
not live. The
actually.
Doves oh my god, I'm
Wait,
like,
hold on. No, no,
everybody I think
no, no, this
everybody
is
knows
like.
this.
I mean, it probably is. I just
Um,
in my head right now, I'm just
yeah,
like,
it's
wait, you
like
guys are actually weren't singing this?
we were, but and everything it's a live event, but it's
Yes.
all what you see on TV is, like, days later. Does that make sense? It's not they're not showing it live in that moment. It
I just
gets
must be really
the whole
oblivious.
event
I must
yeah.
be so oblivious.
The whole event gets recorded, and then
Yes.
a week later, they put it on TV. So,
But
I
they
mean
market it as a live event of that day.
yes, that's why they're like,
Oh.
"Don't say anything, don't post any," and, like, everybody was, like, on Instagram, "Don't post anything," because like, the
Gotcha.
winners are announced that
Yeah.
night, and then people are, like, tagging like, people that haven't seen it at home don't know, right?
Yeah.
So, they tell
Well,
you,
I guess
like,
I'm
to
at home,
be
so I didn't know. I didn't have other people at home that I
hey,
didn't know.
but, like, it's like, they tell you to be, like, discreet 'cause da, da, da.
Yeah.
I think because I mean, it is a big production, but it's not like I think, like, if it was, like, something like the Grammys, like, how that's, like they have enough to make
Yes.
that a live,
Yes.
event or whatever, and I don't know the whole inner workings of all that,
Yeah.
but it's marketed as live, but
Yeah.
it's
That
not,
is.
it's recorded.
I did not know that. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So then, okay, you get there, and like, what's like some behind the scenes kind of like? What is it like? Have you ever sat in the audience?
Well, we did after
So,
yeah,
so
after
then,
we performed. Thank
okay,
God we were the
gotcha.
first people. We opened
Yeah.
the show, so then we were able to get off and sit, and we had pretty good seats. We
Yeah.
sat, like, in the middle. It was awesome.
What was it
Yeah.
like being like backstage, all that kind
It
of
was
stuff?
wild because I was like I mean, everything was happening so fast, but I saw, like, King and Country and,
Ah,
like,
it's
his
so wild.
wife and, like, Lecrae. I'm like, "Hi," and, like, it's just so many different people,
Like rubbing
Carrie
shoulders with so many.
Job and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's just like they're just people, but they were all running around backstage, and it was like everyone was saying hi. Like, it was pretty cool. It
Yeah.
was pretty awesome to experience, so,
Who
yeah.
was it? Like, was there one person that you like rubbed shoulders with that you're like, I wanted to rub shoulders with that person? Like, was there like someone that you're like, if I could like
Hmm.
pass by at the Doves, this is who I'd want to pass by. Did you pass by anybody like that?
I mean, not really. I
No.
don't know
Okay.
why I'm, like, not like, I don't know. There are a couple people in
You're
my
just chill.
life,
You're just
like
like,
Juan Luis Guerra.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, if
If he
he
was
was
there.
there, I would've dropped everything. I would've been like, "No, like, I'm gonna make a fool out of myself right now." But for the most part, I'm just like, I think it's just nice to all be in the same place
Yeah.
and, like, appreciate it. Like, that's so cool, but it wasn't like, "Oh, I wanna,"
Yeah.
I just thought it was, like, a cool experience to
Yeah.
be around, and I think it was Natalie Grant. She was very nice, and
Mm.
she, like and Forrest Frank. Do you know who Forrest
Oh
Frank
yeah.
is? His mother comes up to me, she's
Actually.
like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi," and she's like, "You guys did so great," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much, that's so sweet," and she's like, "I'm Forrest Frank's mom." I'm like, "You're so nice," like, I'm like, "Your son's awesome, you did a great job with your son," like, I just those little moments like
Yeah.
that are pretty neat, you know what I mean?
That's so
Because I'm
cool.
sure she was, like, such a proud mom in that
Oh my
moment
word.
and
Yeah.
so sweet,
Yeah.
and I was like, that she was just happy to be there type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's kinda like that too. I think he's one that I wasn't, like, looking forward to meeting, but when I did and I saw, like, how he carried himself and what he was about, I was like, "That's what this is about." Like, very humble,
That's so cool.
very, like, down to earth, just there to sing and love God, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is so cool." That was cool.
That's
So
so
and then
cool.
his mom was sweet, so it kinda
Yeah.
okay, like, that makes sense why he's the way that he is,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
I
that was cool.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And speaking of live shows, so you do perform live and you do that
I
live.
do,
So
yeah.
take us back to the first time where you were like, I'm gonna I'm on my own terms. I'm gonna
Mhm.
perform instead of like my parents are like, you have to do a recital because you're doing this or
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, where
yeah.
you're like, what was your first show
I
like?
would be the one dragging my
Yeah.
parents. I'm doing a musical and this and that. Y'all better be there. No, they were so supportive. I think I want to say it was probably like a friend's like release party,
Okay.
and it was like an album release party. And he was like, "Would you want to do that?" And I think it was like my first time doing my own like songs,
Yeah.
my original songs, like live like that. And I was like, I don't know, I was like feeling a little nervous because like I hadn't, you always feel a little self-conscious, I think, about your own. Because I'm like, I could do a cover any day. But
Yeah.
then like your words, your something you created. And I was just like, yeah, like I just took the leap and did it. And it was like awesome. And it was a great time. And I
Yeah.
think like from then on, I was like, I think I really enjoy this. I
Yeah.
want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about playing live? Because like you play out in Nashville, you play like the row and stuff of
Hmm.
that, and you then do I'm sure some house stuff and some
Yeah.
like things like that. Like, what's your favorite part about putting your
What's my
music out,
favorite part?
or something that you always look forward to? You like, I always love when I get to do this.
Okay,
You
I
know, like
think just like how people take it, like how it, you know what I mean? Everyone's gonna for me it was something and then someone else might interpret it different or
yeah,
like have a different, the way they connect to it I think has been like the biggest thing for me
yeah,
cuz I've put out some things that are like pretty deep and personal and the way that people are like, "Hey, like I was going to do that thing," or I was like I think that's the thing. I'm like, "Man, like if this was like worth it for like one person, like that's
yeah,
what counts for me." And then I think with the live element, it's like every time is different. I feel like every single time it's like the vibe is gonna be different. Who's gonna be that? Like I have people that get up and want to dance, and like this, I think like those, just like human people being people, right? Like
yeah,
human interactions and how music is like a universal language and it doesn't matter where you're from, where you can like here in Nashville, most of the people that we like see and like we perform in front of are not from here.
yeah,
And that's pretty neat. Like just all these people that are like from everywhere, just vibing and listening to music and loving like I think that's awesome.
yeah,
Just like that togetherness, bringing people together and
yeah,
you just never know what you're gonna get, right?
yeah.
So that's fun.
I love it. Is there a favorite like memory that you've had playing live? Where you're like, that was a standout moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen that long ago, and it happened a couple times. Like I'll do some covers and I think we did like Stand By Me, something like that. That's that song and another song, Human Nature maybe,
Yeah.
but where like they're always older couples. Like older couples get up and just start
Mhm.
dancing and like don't care who's around them. Just like I like to me, and I always say it I'll interrupt my son and be like, "That's love right there. Like that's what it's about." Like just not having a care and just
Yeah.
like let's get up and dance to this right now. I think that's like that's been the best.
Yeah.
It's just sweet,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. I know we're getting close to the end of our time, and it's been awesome.
No.
I want to talk about. I know. I want to talk about new music,
Yeah.
stuff that's coming up for 2025. We're
Yes.
starting that out. What are your goals? Like, what,
Okay.
what, like, do you have any new music coming out?
I do. I've
Okay.
been this whole year. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put something out, and then life. But I think because I just moved to Nashville not that long ago. I've been here for a little bit,
Yeah.
but in March,
Yeah.
getting adjusted and all that. Guess who am I gonna work with? This and that. I think, and then the gigs.
Yeah.
But it's been good. I think the gigging has been good because it's like you have to keep your instrument
Yes.
right, like
Yeah.
going. It's like working out, right? Which I have to do, but you know what I mean. And so I have been writing, so that's been fun. Like writing, recording. I think for a long time I was like, if it's not good, I can't record it, or if it's not good, I can't. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
just make the song, and if you don't put it out, whatever, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Just getting into the habit of like, because I was hanging on to something for a little bit. I'm like, okay, no, like let's move on to the
Yeah.
next one, and
Oh yeah.
just keeping that right, creative juices flowing. So I think I have a Christmas song that's gonna come out.
I love
Hopefully
it.
before Christmas. I think I'm
So
hoping.
soon. Okay. So
Yeah,
soon.
so
Okay.
soon. And
Is it something you
then
wrote or is it a cover?
no, it's something I wrote. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So it's like
Okay.
and it's like Spanish
I love
reggaeton
that.
Christmas. I don't know. It's crazy vibes. And so I'm like, it's my Spanish Christmas. And then for next year, I would love to put out at least like 4 or 5 singles, or maybe a little EP, like a
Yeah.
3-song EP. So those are my goals for now.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
super excited because I think that I've developed in life itself. I think I get a lot of my inspiration by just the things I live
Yeah.
through and my experiences. So I'm like, okay, I think I've like garnered enough
Yeah.
experiences where I can start like putting this stuff out, you
Yeah.
know? So,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on. Where can
Thank
people kind of
you.
follow you as you're releasing stuff and hopefully
Yeah.
soon all that Christmas stuff, all that stuff? Where can people kind of like
Okay.
follow you?
So Instagram, I'm Amanda.Ruiz __. I know that's a lot. I need to change that, but that's where I'm at. You just probably type in Amanda Ruiz.
Yeah.
YouTube, I'm under A Ruiz. If you look up A Ruiz, most of my music videos come up if y'all want to go watch those. And then on TikTok, I'm just Amanda Ruiz.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe on
Spotify is
all that
A.Ruiz.
Okay.
And that's for all platforms. A.Ruiz is on all platforms. So yeah.
Amanda, thank you so much for
Thank
coming on. It's been so
you.
much fun. Yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned because she is going to be performing a couple songs for us after this.
Yay.
Super excited for it. So catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Told you I was done with you, there's no more you and I. Been here too many times before, it all feels too familiar. I used to see you lonely when I looked into the mirror. Now you lost your grip on me, I'm sure you feeling bitter. I need you to get out of here before I reconsider. Me afectaba esta soledad, buscando luz en la oscuridad, teniendo todo y queriendo más, ahogándome en tu falsedad. Recoge tus cosas que tienes que irte tú con esa lave, ya no quiero irte aquí, su presencia Diosito me dice no me queda más que de ti. Goodbye lonely, yeah. Goodbye lonely.